Welcome to the Unbuttoned Up podcast, where career talk gets real and a little unbuttoned.
We're here to help you land the job, get the promotion, and make your next move without sounding like a corporate robot.
Are you climbing the ladder or are you plotting your escape? We are saying what everyone's thinking at work, but we are saying it out loud.
So grab your coffee or cocktail and let's get unbuttoned.
Hi everyone, it's Steph and Kathryn, and we want to talk to you about our next guest, Eric Foster, who is the CEO of a company called TENEX.AI, and they are building and leading AI native cybersecurity services, and they are a leader here in the area, headquartered in Sarasota, and we talk a lot about the tech talent in the community and how exciting it is to be here in general and just how it's expanding, all the talent, all the companies that have relocated here. And we talk about some really cool stuff that will blow your mind.
Yeah, it was a fun conversation. We talked about multi-planetary living, like where the next 5 to 10 years we're going to be, flying cars. It was interesting, and Eric lives this world every day, so I feel like he has a lot of insight, and I feel like we're really not that far off from all that stuff.
And he's having these conversations at a very high level too, and so everything that he talks about, just a very, very impressive guy with a lot of knowledge, and he moved his company here from Kansas, which he will talk more about, and we'll learn why, what he loves about the area, and how he's growing as a company that just started 17 months ago or 18 months ago now. So
that was the most surprising thing to me is they're still a baby, but yet they are running like they are a 20-plus-year-old company because they're so well established. They have a great reputation. They're so well built that you would never know that they are just over a year old.
Yeah, so we're excited for you to tune in, hear more about this, and your thoughts on our conversation too, because it's very, very interesting. So like, subscribe, ask us questions. We want to hear from you, and we look forward to the discussion.
All right, Eric, thank you so much for joining us today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
We're live at the Powered Up Tech Fest here in St. Pete, and you just got off stage. First of all, before we get into what you talked about and about your company, tell us a little bit about yourself, about TENEX.AI, just kind of brief, kind of high-level overview, and then we'll dig more into it.
You got it. Eric Foster, I've been doing cybersecurity way too long. We've been in the Tampa Bay region for about 15 years. Absolutely love it. Think that there's no better place literally on earth to build a business, to raise a family, to live, to work, to everything else. So TENEX.AI, we are the leading next generation AI native cybersecurity services company. So what we're doing is blending the human and the machine, heavy dose of artificial intelligence, to ultimately fight evil every single day. So we wake up, we help companies protect and defend themselves. We also help companies, we see this a lot lately, that really want to leverage artificial intelligence to accelerate their business, and they need help doing so securely. So that is what we do.
Wow. Well, first of all, did you move TENEX.AI down here from another area, or did you come here and decide to start TENEX.AI in the Tampa Bay area because of a certain reason? Like, what brought you to Tampa?
Great question. So we've been down here 15 years. TENEX.AI, we're 15 months old. So it's a little older, but 17 months now, I guess. Got to update my talk track. We literally came out of stealth in January last year. So we've accomplished all of this that
Wow.
we've managed to accomplish in, just a little bit over a year. We started TENEX here, headquartered in the Tampa Bay region, for a couple different reasons. One, big believers of this initiative called the Cyber Bay. As you may know, some of your listeners may know, Tampa Bay has some tremendous cybersecurity companies. It has some tremendous cybersecurity talent. So my old friend Arnie Bellini, ConnectWise fame, particularly has done a lot to accelerate this region from an education perspective, building, he was behind the Arnie Bellini School of Artificial Intelligence and Cybersecurity, but I think most of the universities in the region have sort of leaned into this idea of cybersecurity, artificial intelligence. We believe there's a fantastic talent pool here in the Cyber Bay, so to speak. And that's one of the big reasons. The other, quite frankly, is the political climate in Florida. Believe fundamentally, regardless of which side of the spectrum you live on, Florida is exceptionally pro-business from a political climate. And that's what I mean when I say that. It's the Florida understands that for people to be successful, no matter where you sit in the spectrum or in the world, you need employment, you need fair dealings, you need, an opportunity to transform your life, your family's life, everything else. And this is where to do it.
Agreed.
Agree. And when, over the last 15 years, when did you realize in those 15 years that Tampa could build billion-dollar tech companies?
Yeah, honestly, I believe you can do almost anything from anywhere. But one of the interesting things to me is why not live someplace that you love? Why not walk out your door every single day and go, oh my gosh, this is beautiful? So that was actually one of the big arguments that brought us to Tampa in the first place, was like, why would you live someplace where you walk outside and the sky is gray and you're like, oh, this is terrible? Like, walk outside, live where everybody else vacations, whether that's the mountains or the rivers or the ocean or the bay. To me, it's that combination of a beautiful place to be, a great pro-business climate, and then obviously the great talent pool. Those three things coming together are what make this region so special.
I absolutely agree with that.
Where did you move from?
Kansas City.
Kansas City.
We're Midwesterners. Yeah. Good Midwesterners.
Yeah. Well, I was born and raised here, so love it here. And
you're one of the 5 locals.
I know. I feel like you don't meet people like us every day, but I feel like once you're down here, and I feel like I took it for granted for a long time, but getting to meet people that move here all the time, it's like, okay, I did grow up in a pretty great place.
Oh, we think so for sure. But then, when you talk about the amazingness of building a great company here, I think it's so important to have investment in this region where these great kids that are coming out of school, we've got these great educational systems here. And then the last thing you want them to do is like come to the Tampa Bay region, get this world-class education in cybersecurity or AI, and then go, oh, but I have to move to the Bay to go get a job. It's like, no, we want you to come here, go to school here, and then be able to live and support yourself here. Mm-hmm. And that entire ecosystem is what we're so proud to be a part of investing in.
So tell us a little bit about your background, like what prompted you to start TENEX.AI? Like what need did you or problem did you want to solve?
Well, I think like any good founder, ultimately you're sort of scratching your own itch. I'm a car guy. I like to use a Ferdinand Porsche quote. So he's got a fantastic autobiography that talks about this concept of looking around and not seeing the car of my dreams. I decided to build it myself. And to me, almost every great company I've ever heard of or seen starts with that same concept. It's the founding team got together and like, this bothers me. Mm-hmm. Whether it's, I always wanted to buy this product, I always wanted to consume this service, this thing about this other offering bothered me. It's scratching your own itch. It's building something that you always wanted to see in the world, or this kind of change in the world. So, like I say, I've been doing cybersecurity a long time. I did 3 tours of duty as a CISO, as a Chief Information Security Officer, meaning helping companies protect themselves. Did several startups building products, scaling them, selling them off. I take all of those lessons, ultimately culminating in this. And, I like to say TENEX is essentially a 33-year-old overnight success story. everything that I've done to this point, and not just me, right? It's the whole team. You don't have this kind of company without amazing people that are a part of it. Myself, my co-founders, my amazing team, we're all aligned to that same general concept. It's like all of these things that we've brought together, that we've brought into the world now to say, look, we're going to build this kind of thing that we always wanted to see.
I love that.
Yes.
And the second time we talked about Porsches today.
Yes. Saxon just brought it up. Yeah.
It was another analogy.
So AI is a hot topic, especially today. Everyone here is talking about it. But not all companies are like operationalizing it, right? Because some people are taking a back seat right now. They want to see how other companies are using it. They want to see if it's going to change, what that looks like. What do you think, leverages the companies that are using it today?
Yeah, it's a great observation, and it's actually an amazing one too, because we get in this little ecosystem where like everybody I talk to, for the most part, is AI native. Like we are eating, sleeping, breathing artificial intelligence in every aspect of our lives. And then you go outside and touch grass and you talk to like a normal person and you're like, yeah, I've used ChatGPT a little bit and it's kind of whatever. And like my company blocks it completely. So it is so amazing to me that we are so early in this transformation. There are so many companies, exactly like you said. We talk to them almost every day, where they've literally blocked entirely the use of AI in their company. And sometimes for good reason, because they're not comfortable with the security, the compliance, the regulation around it. This is actually something that we help companies solve for. We come in and literally hit the easy button and go, we can solve for all of this for you with a services and product approach that will come in and actually enable you to use AI to operationalize your business. But, directly to your question, quite literally everything. Like the thing that a lot of people misunderstand about artificial intelligence, Jensen actually puts this, I think, the best. AI is just accelerated computing. What you're doing, if you're on the outside looking at artificial intelligence, you're in the pre-personal computer era, looking at like the Apple II or the first IBM PCs, and like looking at those going like, oh man, I do everything on a spread, I'm an accountant and I do everything on paper and I wear the green hat kind of thing. And I'm looking at these newfangled computers and going like, maybe I could see that that's going to do something. That really, truly is the analogy. Like if you think of it as everywhere that you use a computer today will eventually be replaced by an artificial intelligence. Like that will be your interface to computing, will be an artificial intelligence instead of a keyboard and mouse. And so if you think of it that way, that every single use of a computer will be AI, and then that AI will essentially exist to make you a 10x, true order of magnitude, better, faster, more efficient, everything is going to change. And we're so early to it.
Is that how you came up with your name?
It is.
It
just
that's
the exact
clicked
idea.
in my head.
So, it ultimately comes from, there's a really famous analogy in software engineering, which was the idea of a 10x developer. And the fundamental idea here is that in creative work of any kind, whether it's art or music or software engineering, which we would all argue are the same creative works, that the best are actually an order of magnitude better than average. So look at it in music, look at it in art, look at it in software engineering, look at it in writing, the difference between the world-class writer or the world-class musician, as we sit here in a great theater. Like the world-class musicians that their posters line this hallway are an order of magnitude better than the average like street corner musician. Not disparaging anybody, but like just that talent gap. It's the same thing. We always joke about this, but like pro sports. If you've ever been fortunate enough to like play like a pickup game with a professional athlete, it's like the guys, for example, so I've had this humbling experience personally where like you go to the gym and you're like playing a pickup basketball game and you're like, yeah, this guy set the bench, never played hardly at all for a pro team, but he is exponentially better than every single player, from this amateur level. And so that's the idea, that's the name of the company. But the ultimate idea of that is then that artificial intelligence makes every person 10x better, 10x faster, 10x more cost effective.
And that's what companies too should probably be keeping in mind, I would say, is because if your competitors are using it and doing it and they're working that much faster, that much better, well, then you're going to be behind.
Yeah.
And so...
Yeah, think of this again. Like, this isn't the internet where it's like, oh, maybe my products are eventually going to end up on the internet. Yes, it is that, but it's bigger than that. It really goes back to every single technology revolution we've had put together. So if you think about like the pre-internet days, I know you guys aren't old enough for that, but like for those of us that are, you had a lot of companies that were like, oh, I'm not going to necessarily put my products on the internet. I'm not going to do this, or I loved this analogy because again, I lived through that shift. I lived through the PC shift, but like I talked to a lot of people pre-internet who are like, why would my taco truck be on the internet? And then now, why would your taco truck not be on the internet? Why would you not be using DoorDash for deliveries? Why are you not using Square or something else for payments? Why do you not have a website? Why do you not have social? So those 4 touch points where your taco truck is now on the internet, think about all of those again being replaced with an artificial intelligence that handles that aspect of it. It's every place that you use a computer, every place that you use the internet, all of that. So those companies that are looking at the outside going like, I don't know if we're going to use AI. It's even worse than, I don't know if we're going to use the internet. They're actually going, I don't know if these computer things are really going to catch on. We've got these typewriters. Why would we switch to computers?
Right.
That literally is what we're standing on the precipice of.
Yeah. Do you think that AI will create more entrepreneurs and companies and founders, or do you think it will kind of make that fewer?
That is a great question. And I find myself increasingly contrarian these days. I get asked to do a lot of these speaking opportunities where I think I'm playing the other side of most people. There's a lot of AI doomerism. There's a lot of people who are like, AI is going to kill us all. AI is going to loot, going to take all of our jobs, all of that. And don't get me wrong, it might kill us all. There is that barbell shaped outcome, but I'm a firm believer that we are going to live through the greatest era of human history in the next decade. I believe you're going to see more productivity than the first industrial revolution. And if you're a student of history and you go back and look at how that transformed everything in the world, I think we're on the precipice of that. I might be wrong about the time horizon, but I don't think I'm wrong about the prediction. Mm-hmm. I think, say, 50 years from now, we're going to be a multiplanetary species. I think you're going to look around and you're going to see things that look like the science fiction that I grew up reading and watching. We're going to be living in mega cities on multiple planets with productivity that is off the charts. So the short answer to your question, I don't believe AI is coming for our jobs. I don't believe AI is coming to kill us. It might. If it does, you can't do anything about it, so you might as well go to the other side of optimism and hope and faith that everything is going to be amazing. And you should lean into it. There's no better time than now to build a business. There's no better time than now to execute on making your existing business more productive, more effective, more secure, all of these things. It is all possible right now. It is amazing, and I'm so excited to be a part of it.
Well, now I know why everyone wants you to speak, because I can literally feel your passion talking about this.
I
so
have goosebumps while you were
I mean, I really, truly, like, to me, the companies that are cutting people right now, they're incredibly short-sighted. But more importantly, I think they're using this as an excuse. I think you read these headlines of like, we're laying off 10% of our people because of artificial intelligence. Let me give you a fundamental example. If artificial intelligence truly makes you more efficient and more effective, so anytime you hire an employee, you're a good entrepreneur, you have a return on investment, you have an ROI in mind. I'm going to hire this person for $100,000 a year salary, and they're going to produce $300,000 of benefit for my business, and that's built into the ROI of why I'm going to hire them. So if you hire that person for $100,000 and you feed them a $1,000 a month AI budget, and they produce, let's just say the 10x, $3 million of benefit for your business, do you hire more people or do you hire less people? Now, don't get me wrong. There's some people who might look at that and go, oh man, that's this amazing amount of money, and great, we got the same amount, we got way more work done with this one person, and we're great. But most of us didn't build a business to just do a certain amount of work. Mm-hmm. You built a business to build a product and take it to the world or capture this total market. This is where I believe great companies are going to hire more people, not less. There's a big article I put out that you can go find. It's like, in the age of AI, we are investing in people. We just raised all this money to go hire a whole bunch of people. because we believe we can make them 10x more efficient, more effective, and ultimately accomplish more than ever.
Wow. I love that perspective. Love, because I feel like most people think it's coming for your jobs, and we're in the business of hiring. So we hear it and we see it all the time, and people are scared. So I love that perspective.
And don't get me wrong, there's definitely the Terminator scenario where we're all going to die, but who cares? No.
It's a reality.
Yeah.
But we're seeing a lot of specialized roles now, not just, your, for example, like just a software engineer title. We're seeing AI engineer, Gen AI engineer. And so they're creating new opportunities, new skill sets. Anyone who likes to learn, try new things, get new certifications. I know a lot of our companies require certifications now. There's a lot of resources to get these, and some of them don't cost any money. So we're seeing that, which is great.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it is the best time to be a student. It is the best time and I don't mean like just professional student. I mean like somebody who wants to learn. Right. You have arguably all of the world's knowledge at your fingertips and an interactive tutor who can help you, teach you. It's one of the, I talk to a lot of people who are sort of tentative about getting into this. It's like, this isn't hard. You just literally turn to the AI like it's a person and ask it a question. I want to learn how to use you better. I want to learn how to use this thing. I want to whatever. Talk to it naturally like you normally would, interact with it like it was the smartest person on the planet, and it will take you from there.
Yes. What AI tool do you use personally, like in your personal life?
Yeah, short story is all of them. Like, we are ludicrously AI enabled. Most of my workforce, most of my work runs off of a combination of Claude and Cursor. But we also, this is another great example of this. Like, when products are amazingly helpful and drive a high ROI, we actually buy more of them, not less. So just one easy example, we're this big fan of an AI native presentation tool called Gamma. Just send a random shout out to these guys, backed by Andreessen Horowitz, so I can send that double portfolio note. But like, some people came and said, for example, like, well, look, Claude or ChatGPT or Gemini or one of these others can do presentations okay, and that's true. But like, the money I spend on Gamma is worth thousands of dollars to me in ROI. So like, I'm increasing my Gamma subscriptions because it's so much easier to justify, because just that tiny little bit of productivity. So like, we find ourselves, instead of going, oh, we're going to buy less software, it's like, no, it's way easier to buy way more software, because now this software makes us this much more productive here, and this makes us way more productive here. So the short answer to that question is literally all of them, and almost every month it seems like we buy another like niche AI product because it drives so much more value into our total stack. But if I had to give you one answer, it's all of them.
I have a quick follow-up question to that. For companies that are looking to use AI, is there, like, you wouldn't just open up, okay, everyone has access to Claude or ChatGPT or whatever, or are there certain, like, should they use a certain, like, restrictions and securities?
Yeah, great question. And, to me, it's exactly like saying, giving everybody a computer or giving everybody the internet, right? Like, most businesses don't just hand you that and say, here, go do whatever you want to, right? You come at it with a strategy, you come at it with protections, you come at it with governance and risk management and compliance and other things around it. This is actually, again, not to make this too commercial, but this is literally a thing that we help people with. And I'm not coming at this from a commercial perspective, just purely from if you're lost, if you need this kind of help, you're trying to enable your business, I believe this is a moral imperative. Mm-hmm. I'm going to help you leverage this tool, but do so securely so that you can then go employ more people, can change your life, can change the lives of all the people around you. But you can also do this very, I think, effectively through a lot of the big hyperscalers. So we're big fans of, Google, Microsoft, Amazon all have these big relationships with the big AI labs. And this is a big sort of bet we made with our businesses. Those guys are going to win a lot of this. So if you've got a business and you're like, well, I work with Microsoft, of course, or most businesses either kind of run their business on Microsoft or they run their business on Google. Like, generally speaking, that's most everybody. It's like, call your Google guy or call your Microsoft guy, and guess what? They have an offering for you. Of course, it just so happens that most of them will direct you to us.
Okay.
Yes. It's so interesting too, because the data governance that you mentioned and putting policies in place for your employees with some of this stuff and having those firewalls up, because company data, I mean, those scenarios are very scary. And when that data gets out there, then it's out there. And that's going to cost companies a lot more money probably to fix than to have someone like you come in and tell them,
you've got
where
it.
to
I
start.
mean, it really is. I keep coming back to these same analogies, but it really is very similar. And I think a lot of business owners understand this, of like when they first navigated the internet, when we first turned on email, when we first allowed employees to browse the internet, it was all these same conversations. Like, but my employees are going to take stuff and put it in an email and it's going to go out. And it's like, yes, that did exactly happen. And there were problems because of it. And all kinds of companies got breached and lost money and, lost private information and everything else. And then a whole industry of products came in to try to help make your email more secure, help make your use of the internet more secure, all of that. And so the same thing exists around AI. And I think a lot of people just don't even know that. They don't know that there are products and services, such as ours, but others, that can come in and actually help you do this easily, effectively, securely. And then you can actually get the benefit of all this amazing technology without being afraid.
You've built a very successful company. Is there, obviously, I'm sure you've hit some bumps and had some bruises along the way. Is there any like lesson that you've learned that you would share to another founder or someone who wants to start a company, based on what you've learned that may help them, before they make the same mistake? Is there any?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, man, I would say thousands of them. The life of a startup, and you take a hyperscale, everybody like looks at this of, oh, you guys are so successful. It's like, I mean, I get we've accomplished a lot in a short period of time and we've hit some amazing milestones, but we haven't really accomplished everything that we set out to. 10 years from now, maybe 15 years from now, I can sit back and we can have this conversation of like, oh, you guys built this world-changing thing. But like, we're so early. We're so early in trying to do all of this. And the thing that I would tell other entrepreneurs, I mean, it literally is, come learn from my thousands of knife wounds, from literally like knife fighting in a telephone booth to try to get through these things. But not just me, like surround yourself with a tribe of mentors. Like this is maybe one of the most specific pieces of advice I can give to anybody who's an entrepreneur who, but just in general wants to make themselves better. It is find your tribe, find that tribe of mentors. And a mentor doesn't have to be somebody who's ahead of you. Like peer mentors, you can learn something from everybody. And if you come at that from that point of continuous learning and continuous improvement, and you can take something away from somebody else, man, like there's no better time to be doing all of this for one. But yeah, we could spend the rest of the podcast, like extend this out and just talk about lessons and mistakes and everything else. Anybody who tells you, even like you sit back at a far and look at us and go, look how much money these guys raised and how much they've grown and everything else. It is a constant knife edge between thank you, God, this is amazing, and oh my God, we're all going to die. Everything is on fire, and this is terrible. Like, startup in general is you throw yourself off a cliff with a box of airplane parts, and you have to put the airplane together before you hit the ground. That is startup life in general. It's like we are delusional. We are a little bit crazy. And if you have that delusion and that crazy and that passion, that is the thing to do. But what the people don't tell you is it's not just you're going to throw yourself off the cliff with a box of airplane parts. It's the parts are actually on fire and you're on fire and everyone is shooting at you. And that is the reality of startup life. But if you like that, if you thrive on that, there's no better time to do it, because we're not just building an airplane, we're actually building a rocket ship.
I like that. So just a couple final questions. So when people look back at this era of Tampa tech growth, because I feel like it's been really in the past, 5 years or so that it's grown so quickly. What do you hope TENEX.AI's role in this whole story will be?
Oh, I appreciate that, because it's actually a really good story of when we first moved down here 15 years ago. I told my lovely wife, I'm like, look, you got to understand, we can move down there. I'm going to have to travel a bunch. because the kind of companies that I want to work for are not in the Tampa Bay area, and they weren't 15 years ago. So what I hope 5, even 1 year from now is that we're an integral part of helping continue to grow and scale this amazing ecosystem, because it really truly is a rising tide that lifts all boats. If you can come to the Tampa Bay region, and it is known as one of the leading places for artificial intelligence and cybersecurity, and guess what? I believe it already is. It really truly is. Like, we're making a lot of waves, not just because of us, because of a lot of the other investment in the colleges and everything else. But that would be my singular objective, is like, in answer to your question, is like, a few years from now, Tampa Bay is really known as one of these leading hubs. It's like, you've got the Bay Area, you've got Austin, you've got Tampa Bay. Maybe that's 1, 2, 3 of the like central hubs of AI and cybersecurity, and that we've hopefully been a part of helping to build out that ecosystem. Because it really truly, like when I say rising tide lifts all boats, it's like, if you want to move here, you want to know it's not just, I moved there to work for 10X, but it's like, there's 10 other amazing AI and cybersecurity companies there in the Bay that I could go work for. There's all sorts of employment opportunities. So yeah, we're trying to build the biggest and best cybersecurity services company to ever exist, but we want to build the entire ecosystem.
Yeah, I was going to ask, in order to do that, do you think staying in Tampa Bay, like Tampa Bay will be able to support that, or?
Hey, that's another good question. So we're headquartered here. So I talked earlier, I'm increasingly contrarian. One of my other big contrarian points, I believe remote work was one of the biggest mistakes in human history. I think we are a social species. I think we need to see each other. I think we need to work together. I think in-office culture is exponentially more valuable than remote work. It's not to say people can't do it. It's not to say people can't be flexible, but like, I believe in return to office. 10X has been in office from day one. And like, that is our culture. We believe in that. So we actually have 4 physical offices today. Tampa Bay area will always be headquarters, as long as I have anything to do with it. But we have our single biggest physical office, at least today, is in Kansas City. Then we've also got Scottsdale, and we've also got San Jose. And then we've got 10 people in EMEA already, in Europe, Middle East, Africa. That's a little bit different, pulling, because you're literally covering this whole part of the world. So you're hiring people in individual spots. Maybe some point we build an office out there, but I wouldn't be surprised if we don't open 2 more physical offices this calendar year, to that. So yes and no is the answer to your question. Like, I believe fundamentally there's a huge amount of talent here in Tampa Bay. I really believe there is. In fact, one of the biggest detriments for us choosing to be in Sarasota, which we really love, but it's actually, there's a ton of talent that's like up here in Tampa that then looks at it and goes, you know what, the road infrastructure is really terrible. Like, I don't want to live in Tampa and commute to Sarasota, which we go, great, move to Lakewood Ranch. But, but I think that, like, there are enough people here. There's not enough infrastructure to support moving the people around where they need to go. There's not enough places for people to live that we've seen. But I do believe this area is going to scale, going to grow, going to be that amazing hub. But I also believe to hit our objectives, we're going to have to be, multi-city.
Now we just need flying cars to
One
help with that.
One of my customers, Archer Aviation, is doing that. If you saw the Olympics where they're carrying the athletes in those like human-sized drones, they're one of our customers. They're fantastic. Maybe we get there before we talked about looking around and seeing the sci-fi cities. Like, that would be one easy unlock for sure.
Well, this conversation has been great. Thank you so much, Eric.
Thanks so much for having me. It's really fun and really great podcast. I love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We appreciate your insight.
Anytime.